Where are you from? Charleston. Where are you from? New York. Where are you from? Buffalo. No. No, I've just learned that when you move to Tampa, the first question you ask people is, where are you from? Because nobody's from Tampa. Oh, we got a couple. Okay. And it's the answer to that question that draws together the gospel and the epistle today. Now, usually, the gospel and epistle don't match up unless it's a big feast day or something, because when they set the lectionary, where we make the choices for the lessons, we don't choose, it's assigned. It's a 3-year cycle. And the first thing that is picked for a specific Sunday is the gospel. The gospel that you heard today will always be the gospel for the second Sunday of Lent, year C. Every third year, that will be the gospel on the second Sunday of Lent. And when they pick the gospel, then they pick an Old Testament and a psalm that line up with the gospel. But the other lesson, it's usually an epistle, or it could be from Revelations or Acts, is on its own track. It's on its own deal. But today I was struck by the similarity of attitude of Jesus and Paul. Because they were both a little cheeky. Right? The Pharisees come. Now, this is a rare instance in the Gospels where the Pharisees are the good guys. They come to Jesus to warn him, and they say, hey, Herod is out to get you. He's going to try and kill you. Now, I would have been a little nervous. Herod has already imprisoned John, his cousin. He will shortly lop off his head. What's Jesus say? Tell that old fox. Something like that. I don't know if there was a... Hebrew people were very demonstrative, though. I think there might have been a gesture. I'm not worried. I'm doing what I am supposed to be doing. I'll get there soon enough. Paul says, be imitator of me. How many of you go around regularly telling people, you need to be more like me? I mean, except for that commercial, that Nike commercial, Be Like Mike, be like Michael Jordan, I don't recall anybody really doing that too much. I mean, in both cases, these are kind of just cheeky statements. Where does that come from? Well, I think the secret is in what Paul says a little later in the letter. He says, our citizenship is not of this world. Paul is no longer from Buffalo or New York or Charleston or Michigan or even Tampa. Paul has traded his citizenship on earth in for a different citizenship. Paul is now a citizen of God's kingdom. And with citizenship comes privileges. First, think about what Paul gave up. Paul was the man. Come on, he was a rabbi, a member of the Sanhedrin, the ruling class of the Hebrew people in Jerusalem, in the city. I mean, not even living in Apollo Beach would be this good. He was a Roman citizen as well. He was at the height of everything. And he counted it as nothing, as worth nothing. He traded it all in for a different citizenship. Jesus, who was a citizen of the kingdom of God, took probably one of the worst destination choices he could have taken. He did a visa here on earth, gave up some of his rights as a citizen, so to speak, to travel amongst us and be like one of us. But through it all, both Paul, Jesus, and those who know where they're from enjoy some advantages. For one, they know their purpose. Once Paul had his encounter with Christ on the road to Damascus, he knew what he was called to do. He never had any doubts anymore about why he was on this earth. And his only regret was that he hadn't figured it out sooner. He became the apostle who was one untimely born too late to actually walk with Jesus, but nonetheless, a super apostle, one who was born from above. He knew what he was supposed to do. Now, that's all well and good, but if you look through the Bible, most other people in the Bible, even when they have an encounter with God, even when they accept their citizenship, I will be your God, you will be my people, still are sometimes a little reluctant to do that thing they're supposed to do. Remember, Moses said, no, God, you got the wrong guy. You want my brother Aaron. Jonah. God said, go over here. He decided to go over here. And even Jesus in the garden had a moment where he wasn't sure this was the best idea. And yet, because they knew where they were from, because of their citizenship, they did not give in to a spirit of fear. Because when we become citizens of heaven, God does not give us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power and love and sound mind. And we are able to go and face those things that we think are too hard. Finally, we also begin to be able to discern what is of God and what isn't. We begin to be able to tell the difference between things that come from his kingdom and things that are from this kingdom. I hate that phrase, Paul says, their God is in their belly. I like to think mostly I'm citizen of heaven, but sometimes God does get in my belly becomes my God. Sometimes things of this earth become more important than things of the next kingdom. That discernment goes beyond just knowing right from wrong. You begin to see people clearly. You begin to be able to discern who else might be a fellow citizen of the kingdom. And you're able to have deep fellowship. The Greek word is koinonia. deep fellowship, a spiritual fellowship, a friendship that goes beyond human understanding. And, like Paul, like Jesus, if you are a citizen of the kingdom of God, you can say outrageous, cheeky things. I'm going to say something outrageous and cheeky. And here's what I'm going to say. It's going to be okay. That's my thing. It's going to be okay. I have two friends, two koinonia friends, who I have prayed with, who I've sat with, who I have loved, who are both very, very ill. One's under 50. I've known her more than half her life. And if she doesn't win the organ transplant lotto and get some new lungs, she's probably not going to be with us that much longer. The other is a newer friend. She's not doing well, but who I love. And in both cases, as much as it grieves me to think about it, it's going to be okay. Because I know something. As a citizen of God's kingdom, He sometimes lets me in on things. And I know it's going to be okay. That when they pass, they will be with Him. And where they are going, I will be also. In a very short time. Now, not in earthly terms, but, I mean, when you think about eternity with God, our life here is very short. So the separation, the pain, the hurt that I'm going to feel is just for a short time. And I won't really be that separated from them. We'll see each other every Sunday, gathered around that same table where angels and archangels and all the company of heaven come to feast. It's going to be okay. And the loss of the koinonia that I enjoy now will be nothing compared to that which we will enjoy when my citizenship becomes full and real. It's going to be okay. I know that because I know where I'm from. Where are you from?